Good morning. Well, here we are. Thanks for being here this morning. And I think this is the weekend that marks 6 months of this journey together where we aren't exactly sure how things are going to go and our lives are rather uncertain, and we're protecting ourselves by staying home largely. And I meet you here in this space, yes. 6 months of that, and last night's news, I want to dedicate this class to, I'm going to call her today Saint Ruth. I went doing a little research on her last night. You might have done the same thing, and I saw a quote that she stated that real change happens a step at a time, and of course that made me think about the practice. And one of the many yoga practices of, well, certainly being present, but also walking meditation, where we just practice being completely present to what is happening. And I saw in my own process last night around receiving the news that she had passed, and then the sadness around that, and then the concern. And I want to add to the mix that if you live in this area of the world, we are moving into autumn, and from an Ayurvedic standpoint, you may feel it yourself. It's dry, the winds begin to pick up, and those of us who tend to get scattered anyway become more scattered and often a little bit fearful at this time of year. So we want to hunker down and keep our passion alive and ground and keep routines that are quite good routines to keep us grounded and rooted. And I bring that up because last night I saw some spinning out occurring inside around, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? What's going to happen to this country? I'm sure that you have experienced some of that concern as well. And then as I went inside my meditation before sleep, I realized, oh, I'm just sad. I'm sad that she has passed, and that some of that anxiousness and worry was a response to the fact that I hadn't just sat with what was here. So in our practice this morning, we will sit with what is here, and we will take things step by step. And we will also circle. There will be some circling that we'll do around particular joint structures, such that we want to be present enough so that we're looking inside, where is the circle easy? Where do we veer off? Where do we veer off physically from being able to experience the circle? And then where do we also veer off mentally, like we just take off, gone, okay? We come back to step by step. All right, so let's feel ourselves here, rooted, grounded. Let's draw the palms together at the heart. And feel the heaviness of the pelvis, the weight. Go inside for a moment, just checking in with what we've brought to the party that is this practice in our seated position. How does the body feel this morning? You know, this practice is so beautiful because it requires this open honesty and the courage to be honest with ourselves. And we might begin the practice this morning with one Om. We inhale, exhale, inhale. Om. Good, okay, so let's begin this morning lying back on our backs. That's a good place to begin. Yeah, let the arms come down beside you. You can have the feet maybe a little bit wider than you might normally. And you feel the shoulder blades in the mat. Now, if you're against a rubber mat, this can be a little bit more difficult than if you were on a blanket. But let's try it anyway. Take the tip of your left shoulder blade, the very bottom tip, and install an invisible pen there. And see if you could begin to, yes indeed, draw a circle. So the shoulder blade moves down toward the hip, and then in, it retracts toward the mid-spine, and then upward. How far up will it go? And then outward. Yeah, almost like we were in downward dog, and then back down again. If the hand is floating off the ground, that's fine. But as we make our way around, we are one, very present with the movement. And two, we're noticing if the movement is smooth or not. Okay, so we've come around maybe about 4 times. And then let's switch directions. So now we move in and down and out and up. You think about, yes indeed, we talk a lot about lubricating the fascia. How is this movement here? And each time we come around, can it become a little bit more smooth? Okay, one more time. Good, and then just place the left arm down. And right arm, extending right arm downward. And here we go. Draw it in toward the spine, up, out, and then back down. Tracing a circle. And the idea is that we are present to the entire movement, and when the mind wanders, since we're committed to being kind to ourselves, you just notice and come back. We might hear some clicking. It's very common. Okay, up one more time. Good, and then let's reverse it. Coming up and in and down and around. And some of us, especially if you're a right-handed person, you spend a lot of time on the computer, this right shoulder may feel a little more forward than the left. Exploring the territory. Okay, one more time. Ah, yes. Okay, releasing back. Good. And then let's draw the knees into the chest. Send the legs up, please. And yes, indeed, now we install the pen at the big toes. And simultaneously, we move the feet. So the circles, we make the circles, they move together. And let's switch directions each time around. I think you get the hang of this. We look to create a little bit more space. Noticing the idiosyncrasies, appreciating the differences in both feet. Good. Okay, release, bend the knees. And now big circles here. So as you come around, yeah, moving away and then all the way in. And you can go ahead and shift off one hip and then the other. And notice that the abdominals are involved. like we're stirring a big pot. Yeah. And then one more time around here. And switch directions. Good. Subtle work. Subtle foundational work helps to support the complex down the road. Notice the coordination of the breath with the movement. Okay, one more time around. And then releasing, and let's cross the ankles. And now we've got this rounding that we want to have happen in the back, where it's a smooth up and back. How smooth can it be? How round can we make the spine? Okay, one more time. And then we place the hands down, the feet are down. We lift the hips and send the legs back behind us. Downward facing dog. Let's walk back and forth. Feeling quite a lot of shift from left to right. Almost like we've made our pelvis into a pendulum. And we can turn the feet. Okay, then come back so feet are parallel, come up onto the balls of the feet, stretch the roots of the toes. Send the pelvis up high. Wake up the front thighs, quadriceps engaged. Inhale through the nose. Exhale the breath completely. Again, inhale. Exhale. And one more. And then land the heels. Well, they may not come all the way to the floor. In fact, it's really best to not have them come to the floor so that we are drawing downward through inner edges and outer edges, and we have a place to grow. There should be a place to grow. We inhale. Exhale, knees bend, look past the hands, and step forward between the hands. Let's inhale, lengthening. Exhale, fold forward. Let the head and neck hang for a moment. And we just allow whatever is here to spill right off the back, the neck. Bend the knees. Notice the difference for your neck. Take a few deep breaths into the back of the lungs. Filling that space. Good, then bend the knees a lot. Slowly, one vertebrae at a time, we rise up. Good, send the arms all the way up. Interlace your fingers at the top, please. Good, then we carve a hole in the sky, which means we move to the left and then a little forward. Just lubricating the muscles in the thoracic spine and pretending that we have this, well, it depends on what image you want to use. It could be a very big, like Komodo dragon tail. Dragon tail draws way down toward the heels. Just imagine that were the case. Okay, one more time around and then switch directions and lift the sternum so that this is completely upper back. Okay, one more time. Ah, yes, okay, great. And then back at the top of the mat, release the arms. Standing in mountain pose, wake up your legs. Your feet are parallel with one another, or big toes touch with the heels out a little bit, and then hugging the bones. Strong legs. Remember the lizard tail. I prefer dragon tail myself. Extend the arms downward. Feel the fingertips. Attempt to root into the ground. Mountain pose, steady like a mountain. We inhale, send the arms up. Exhale, folding forward, out and down. Inhale, we lengthen the spine. Exhale, palms down, step back to plank pose. Let's take a breath in plank. Good, all very awake here. Push back through your heels. Now, will you notice I haven't on YouTube talked much about the relationship between the pubic bone and the coccyx. So you, right there at the tip of your dragon tail and your pubic bone, if you tuck under toward the pubic bone and then you move the pubic bone toward the coccyx, just go back and forth here a couple breaths. You may need to bring the knees to the floor, feeling in, and then look for the middle between those two extremes. Where is the middle? And then lower the knees to the floor and slowly come down. Point your toes back. Have your hands pressed. Inhale, pull the mat. Lift the sternum forward. Exhale, slowly lower. Come on to the fingertips now. Feet press. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, lower. And then one last time with arms back behind, palms face up. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, lower. Well done. Hands under the shoulders. Root navel to spine. Tuck toes under. Send hips back. Downward facing dog. And settling into our dog so we can find a place of stillness here. Inner edges and outer edges of the heels draw downward. And here we'll check the same action out where we take the tip of our dragon tail toward pubic bone and then move pubic bone toward coccyx. You could feel, well, you probably feel a lot in the glutes, but just notice, well, there's the left, there's the right, there's forward, there's back, and then find a middle place. Middle place. Wrap the outer edges of your shoulders around the front of your chest as if you're trying to become very tubular. And we inhale. Exhale, bend your knees, look past your hands, step or float forward. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, releasing. Inhale, push the ground away, rising up, palms touch. Exhale, release the arms. Good. Back to mountain, back to baseline. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, fold forward. Now inhale, lengthen. Exhale, either step or float back, lower. Halfway down or knees and torso down. Inhale, cobra or upward dog if you know it. Strong legs. Exhale back, downward dog. And watching the breath. And feeling into this shape. So we're putting ourselves back together. I always think of asana as a way of gathering our energies all together again. Then slowly lower the knees to the floor, please. And let's take the left leg out to the side. So you guessed it. The left knee, we have just installed a pen at the left knee. And we will gradually make circles here. Noticing how the left leg responds to this movement. Where the circle seems to get a little short-changed. How to work with gravity and how to work with our breath. I recommend inhaling up and exhale with a little ujjayi breath, meaning contract vocal cords slightly so you've got a little sound on that breath. And you can slow down the movement. Some of you may be going really fast. Too bad I can't see. See if you can slow it down with the breath, step by step. Okay, left knee down. Ready? Right leg. What's it like on this side? And we take it slow at first, and then each time we come around, we see if we can build on that circle. It's really a little bit more like a spiral, potentially. Okay, one more time around. Good, setting it down. Tuck your toes under. Puppy pose for a moment. Walk your fingertips forward. Shift the hips up and back. Keep the elbows off. And feel the breath spread across upper back. It's like a form of washing. Washing the body with the breath. Good, then come back now to downward facing dog. Settling in, and one of the words of today is tubular. So that means those outer wings of the shoulder blades, they do almost seem to wrap around the upper chest as if they could meet at the sternum. Obviously impossible, but that's the sense. Then send your right leg up and back behind you. Inhale. Exhale, look forward. Thigh to ribs. Foot lands lightly between the hands. Let's keep it a high lunge, please. Slowly rising. And then go ahead, take the arms like cactus, wake up your back leg like you've got that big dragon tail back there, and you're aware of the whole body and this shape that you've got. Go ahead, make fists with the hands. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, we open. Exhale, fists and rounding. Inhaling. Exhale. And one more. Good, then inhale, we open. Exhale, hands to the ground. Right leg back, lowering through, or knees and torso down. Inhale, open the front. Exhale, back, downward dog. And settle into the mountain shape. Strong legs, watch the breath. If you did have a big dragon tail, drag it all the way down toward your heels with your imagination. Sweep left leg up and back, coming up onto the ball of the right foot. Hips are square. Inhale. Exhale, thigh to rib cage. Foot lands. Now back leg is strong. And up we come. And we settle in root and ground. Root and ground. Yes, like we're arriving. And then take the arms wide. Got it? Inhale. Exhale. Breath is out. Inhaling. Good, one more. And then inhale, we open. Exhale, hands to the ground. Left leg back, lowering through the way you do. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Upper back opening. Exhale, back, downward dog. Just watch the breath. Watch sensations of the body. Remember this business with the tailbone, the tip of the tailbone. Move the coccyx toward the pubic bone again. And then move the pubic bone toward the coccyx. And for your own inquiry, which creates a sense of more stability or grounding? I have a guess about that, but I want you to feel it for yourself. A couple more times, just tipping. And then go to the place that does create a little bit more stability and grounding. And inhale. Exhale, bend your knees, look past your hands, step or flip forward. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, fold. And pause for a moment, separate your feet hip width apart. Grasp big toes with middle and index fingers. You made a circuit here. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Likely you'll fold over bent knees. So your rib cage is right against your thighs. Let your head and neck hang. And draw your shoulder blades up, away from your ears. And feel the circuit, this circle, from feet up the body. And then back down over the back, the top of the head, and into the hands, and back to the feet. And notice that actually as you inhale and exhale, it's as if you are circulating breath through the whole body. Like inhale the breath up the back, exhale back down toward the feet. And there's a song from, it's probably the late 60s, early 70s that's just come to mind. We go round in circles. Some of you were not alive for it. This is very sad. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, palms down again. Step back to plank. Now let's check this out in plank, where we've got our dragon tail. Move it to the pubic bone. And then move the pubic bone toward the coccyx. Okay, so is it obvious to you yet about which one creates a little more grounding? Probably, well, either the middle or send your tailbone toward pubic bone slightly and back down toward the heels. Okay, let's lower right knee to the ground now and come up. So you've got your knee and your hand are in alignment on the ground. And we'll take the left leg off. And will you bend the knee? Draw the knee in close to the chest. Point the toes. Left arm goes up. The question is now, can we establish the pen at the left knee and circle using our breath? So probably inhaling up, exhaling back down. Some of you may find that the balance here is quite tricky and the left hand needs to be on the floor. Good, smooth in the hip joint. Each time we come around, we look for a little bit more space. Oh, now let's switch directions while we're here. Hips should be talking at this point. Does it seem like it's getting more smooth? Okay, then slowly knee down, hand down. Here we go. Let's switch sides. Right leg extends first, right arm up. Then knee in. And we circle. You might find that the standing foot, the left foot toes tucked under, helps your mission here. What is this side like? Okay, let's switch directions. The idea here is that we're in space, which means we're pretending that gravity doesn't exist. So as the knee comes back down, we don't just let it fall, we move slowly. One more time around. Okay, good. Knee down, hands down, tuck toes under. Now come up high onto the balls of the feet, stretch the fascia in the feet, and then send the pelvis upward. And in this case, you'll feel, go all the way. You could lift the pubic bone toward the tailbone, toward the coccyx in this position. So hips are so high. Good, and then gradually draw heels back down to the floor. Inhale. Exhale, bend your knees, look past your hands, step or float. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, fold. Head and neck release. Inhale, chair pose. We turn ourselves into a lightning bolt here. And this is a great posture to discover the middle way of the pelvis. So there's the tuck, and then pubic bone back toward coccyx. And notice the difference in the way that I teach. I'm really interested in the mountain pose in every posture. So with that in mind, even though we're bent like a lightning bolt, see if you can find a sense of middle for the pelvis now that you know the extremes. Then as you rise up, let's come up high onto the balls of the feet. Steady your gaze. Big toes press. Like you could touch the sky. Slowly release the heels and return the arms beside you. And come to mountain pose. Waking up the legs, allow the shoulders to release downward. We know, because we've been practicing for a while, that one way to build strength over time is when we get to that point where there's shaking and tremoring. See if we can hang out in there just a little bit longer than we might normally need to, so that we can widen our aperture of where we deem, where we're capable of in our understanding. Where are we capable of hanging? 6 months that we've been doing is a little bit like that. Oh, I can do this. Yep, okay, I can do this. I can do this. And we expand our view of what we're capable of. So with that in mind, let's take tree pose. Right knee draws in, and then the foot comes anywhere along the leg but not the knee joint. Now set the pelvis so you found the middle way. Extend the arms upward. Become tubular. So what the heck does that mean? Instead of blasting open, if the pelvis is at middle way, we can feel that we want to go middle way all the way up through the arms. So there's a wrap here. Shoulder blades come around. Good. Now establish a steady connection with your left big toe. And push the right foot into the inner left leg. And the outer edge of the left thigh draws into center as well. And some of us might take the gaze up slightly, but root down deeply into the ball of the left foot and potentially play with lifting the heel off the floor. Now we may be lifting from the pelvic floor, as if the pelvic floor was being lifted from above. Play with coming up and hovering. A little shake, a little tremor. What's possible there? Okay, releasing the arms. Release the right foot. Maybe shake out the legs a little bit. Find mountain. Let the right big toes settle and root. So much interest in rooting and grounding and being present with where we are. And then playing with, well, what if we shift toward the edge of discomfort? Can we still remain rooted and grounded with whatever we find? So the left leg lifts, pushing in, rooting down, good, growing, middle way at the pelvis, tubular. Good. Every time we extend upward, we root downward a little more. And then maybe we play with big toe, stays connected. The gaze might go up a little bit, but steady your gaze. Notice when you go up, where do you go? There may be a pattern there. Lifting the heel off. Lift from the pelvic floor. Good, release and rest in mountain pose. So let the feet sink. Feel the support of the ground. Relax the jaw, relax the tongue. Yeah, learning to sit in ourselves with what is here. Beautiful, really. It's a beautiful process. Not always easy, but beautiful process. Now back to chair. Sitting back, check the pelvis, middle way, up onto the balls of the feet. Heels over balls. Steady gaze. Little tubular. We concentrate our energies to come right into the center of our experience. Then plant the heels. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, fold forward. Head and neck empty out. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, step back, lower through. Inhale, open the front. Exhale, back. Downward dog, settle. You know, this is one of the interesting things too. Some of us settle naturally. In fact, settling isn't a big deal, but moving is a harder thing. Others of us so frenetic with our energy, learning to settle. Another great gift of this practice is understanding our nature. Take the right leg back, hips are level. Inhale, exhale, thigh forward. Foot lands nearly between the hands. Pivot the left heel and let's come up. So we've got a heel-heel alignment. The hands have come to the hips just to level. They're both forward. Check with the right knee so that it's not hypermobile. Pull forward a little bit so the muscles are working. And then either fists back behind us, pushing, or palms come together in prayer position. And in either case, feel the hands contact the upper back and have the upper back contact the hands. Good. Now we'll inhale, exhale. As we fold forward, notice that the pubic bone goes back. It goes back toward the coccyx. As we head toward right pinky toe. Yeah, and go ahead, just let the pubic bone move way back. And then if you can relax the head and neck, do. Steady your gaze.
And the arms are like tiny dragon wings, lifting elbows upward. Feel the feet move in toward each other. And when we come out of this, let's do it this way. Let's move the coccyx toward the pubic bone. Let's initiate from there, okay? So inhale, coccyx moves toward pubic bone as we rise. And that might be different for some of you. It's certainly different for me in the way that I often do it. Let's take the left foot forward now, the right foot back. So we use the pelvic floor to our advantage here. So you've got about a heel-heel connection, strong legs. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, move the pubic bone back toward the coccyx. As you make your way toward left pinky toe, then empty out through the top of the head, steady gaze. And dragon wings lift a little bit. Notice lower navel, a sense of drawing inward. Wash your breath through the body. Now from here, again, coccyx, find tip of the tailbone. Move it toward the pubic bone on the way up. Did you feel that? Good. Release the hands to the ground, left leg back. We're in plank pose. Inhale. Exhale, come all the way down onto the belly, and let's rest for a moment on a cheek. What's sometimes called residue. I don't tend to like that word because I don't have a particularly pleasant association with residue, but I like to pause after an action and feel the effect of that action in the body. And this feeling into what is here. All right, let's go ahead now. Lift the chest off, take the arms back. Make your fingertips really long, like they're 3 feet long behind you. Go ahead and lift the legs. Lift the legs so it feels as though this dragon tail has extended all the way to the balls of the feet, that you're quite long. Good, point the toes. And then open up the breath around the collarbone area. Almost a fire-breathing dragon, but not quite. Lifting up. Exhale, releasing. Feel this now. Hands under shoulders, tuck toes under. Inhale, lift back up the way you do. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good, checking in with the pelvis. And become tubular here. Then sweep right leg up and back behind you. Inhale. Exhale. This time, right foot comes to outer edge of right hand. And we'll go ahead and lower the left knee down and the front toes down on the left foot. And we sink into the left thigh to whatever extent we can. We might come on to the outer edge of the right foot. Some of us will bring the forearms to the ground. So for yoga teachers, images like dragons, in this case, they're helpful because sometimes when we're describing anatomical actions, it's easier for people to relate to an image than the mechanics themselves. Both are so helpful, but can you feel when I say the dragon tail all the way through the ball of the foot? The answer may be no, I can't feel that, but Okay, so now from here, the left forearm is parallel with the top of the mat. Some of us might turn the chest to the right. We might take the right hand to the thigh. We might bend the knee. Keep your shoulders away from your ears. Some of you will take the right hand to the foot. You might invite the foot toward the pelvis. Be sure, though, that it's simpatico. Whole body feels pretty good wherever you've chosen to be. Good, a little edge. Breathe into that edge. And then go ahead, extend the left leg long once again. Hands to the floor. Sweep the right leg up and back. Stack the hips, bend the knee, point the toes. As if the leg were again really an extension like a tail. And then releasing to the floor, downward facing dog. Put yourself back together again. Can you feel the breath move through the whole body? The reverberation, just the really subtle waves of breath touching in on the outer reaches of the body. Good, then left leg extended back. Go ahead, stack the hips, reach up. Inhale, exhale, thigh forward, foot to outer edge of left hand. Come down gently, knee down, toes turn back. Sinking, maybe rolling onto the outer edge, maybe forearm down. And the breath moves into the contracted bits, but gently, step by step. And then maybe the knee bends, and we've turned. The left hand can come to the thigh. We revolve the rib cage a little bit. We might reach back. We might invite the foot toward the pelvis. We might feel the quadriceps. Yeah, so feeling, awareness of feeling. The awareness itself creates expansion. Then kindly moving in with the breath. Could be said for movement mechanics, could be said for emotional mechanics as well. Good, then slowly releasing. Hands to the ground, tuck toes under, sweep left leg up and back. Stack the hips, bend the knee, take a look at your tail. You know, I think that analogy helps to feel more connected to the legs. And then release the left foot. Set yourself in downward dog. You might bend your knees a little bit. Tubular, yes, inhale. Exhale, look past your hands and let's float the legs forward, however we do, coming down to a comfortable seat. Take the legs out in front of you. Okay, so you see that my knees are bent. And this is another one where when we go to fold forward, can we do it by drawing the pubic bone toward the coccyx and see what that gives us? And then come back. And if we go forward again, how far forward can we go if the coccyx is moving toward the pubic bone? I would suggest less far, right? Okay, so go back now to middle way. Folding forward, have your rib cage touch the top thighs first, get that comfort there, And then if you've got space along the hamstrings, go ahead, straighten the legs. And then allow yourself to completely release torso, head and neck. Knees could be bent, same idea. Breathe across the span of your upper back. We use the breath to wash the body, not to rid the body of what's here, but to shine a light. It's like we're polishing. Feel the muscles of the legs hugging the bones, particularly around just above the knees. And then when we come up from here, have your coccyx move toward your pubic bone to lift you up. Bend your knees, send your hands back behind you. All right, so now it's time for a very big dragon tail. So I learned this yesterday from Richard Freeman, and it was really fascinating. You're imagining that, yes, indeed, you got a tail and it expands way out there, and that tail, as you lift up, it's going to curl up. So we're coming into reverse table. Here we go. So curl it up. I found for myself that it was a much stronger lift with that imagination of this tail. The chin can stay at the chest or release back. And as you release back, look at the tip of your nose. Yep. Look at the tip of your nose and notice how that helps to actually open up the throat. Keeping that sense of the tail. Inhale, exhale, slowly releasing downward. How did that go? I'd love to hear how that went. Take your legs long, point your toes. Now same idea, you got this tail, inhale, lifting upward. Good, watch the tip of your nose. This may be too much, in which case, wake up the back body. If it is too much, go ahead back to the last posture where the knees were bent. Feel the whole back body, strong back, soft front, inhale, exhale, slowly release. Good, slide the knees in, take the arms forward, one vertebrae at a time. So this, we can use the same mechanics here, right? Coccyx toward pubic bone. And that might give us a little bit more, I don't like the word control, but a little bit more aptitude. We might be able to move a little slower. You can feel this action happening like we're a seahorse. And we've got this endless tail wrapping around inside. And then release, come all the way down. And let's feel into what just happened there inside the body. Just noticing subtle sensation. Noticing the places where we often place emotion inadvertently. Many of us, the chest area. Some of us belly, some of us sacrum area, lower back. Just feel into what's happening. Let's bend both knees. Draw the feet in close. And then let's lift up into bridge. Pressing the feet. And go ahead, slide one shoulder blade in at a time, interlacing, root the arms downward, feel the feet press. And you can check this out here too with the tailbone, pubic bone connection. You know, if you move coccyx toward tailbone, you notice how that can create a great deal of, for some of us, congestion in the glutes. But if we drop the pubic bone, you notice how you lose your glutes and you lose your connection to your legs. So find middle way, middle path, middle path. Now move your soles of your feet toward your shoulders a little bit. Notice how that invigorates the back. And then the space behind the heart. See if you can find that space. And find that space by drawing the soles of your feet toward your shoulders. Now see how it can open in there, pressing the arms. And then come up onto the balls of the feet. And one vertebrae at a time. Take your time. There's no rush. Ah, yes. Okay, soles of the feet together, knees wide. Yeah, groin and adductors soften. Wash the breath over. Choices are to be made here. We often do these two postures in this morning practice because opening the front body in the morning is so important. With feet pressed, we could come back to bridge. Some of you might find the ankles at this point in your bridge or interlace. Or hands now under the shoulders. Come lightly onto the top of the head. Keep your feet parallel with each other and your arms parallel with each other. And inhale, open out. And this is another one where, yep, find coccyx, find pubic bone. Notice that relationship. How when pubic bone drops, there's no glutes. Coccyx moves toward pubic bone. Is there too much congestion? Find the middle. Okay, you guys in bridge, lift your right leg up. Be lifted from above. And wheel, same thing, right foot may come to midline. Leg can go up, extending. Feel inner thighs. In all cases, inner thighs drawn in toward each other. And we all switch the legs. We're going to be lifted from above. And then slowly, feet land. We come down. And we rest once again in Supta Baddha Konasana, feeling into what's here now. Including whatever sounds happen to be inside and around us. Including all the thoughts that arise and pass. All the emotions that arise and pass. Remembering our good friend core, the root word for courage, the courage to open to what is true in us. Feeling sensations, the subtlest of sensations. And appreciating the natural intelligence of our body. Now we'll slowly take the arms forward. See if you can lift your feet off, and can you find your way up? It may not be pretty. Slowly rise up. And then land the feet. So we'll land the feet. We'll have the feet out. This is like a, well, it's a weird shape. It's a diamond shape. The heels are touching. And let's see if we can slide the arms in right in underneath the legs. So it should feel pretty gentle. The hands can rest on the ankles or the feet. And we fold in. And yes, you guessed it, we're right back to that theme of we can learn a lot about our hips here if we draw the dragon tail toward the pubic bone and then pubic bone toward coccyx You may feel a little imbalance in one of the hips, maybe a little easier movement, just going back and forth here like the tide. And watching the tide coming in and then receding. Now let yourself recede and then let the swell happen. Good. Just back and forth slowly. It's like learning to ride a wave, isn't it? So often in this practice we get this idea about it should be one way or another. We could spend our whole life debating how a posture should be, when what we're really interested in, at least what I'm really interested in, is the movement within that posture and learning how to navigate our lives through this interesting practice. Okay, now find middle way and then just fold forward and let yourself rest in stillness. As we watch the breath. Likely move up the back of the spine and then down over the head. Back toward the pelvis and then up toward the head once more. And then we gradually inhale, rise up slowly. Exhale. Take the legs to the ground. Check it out. If the coccyx moves toward the pubic bone, can we slow down the momentum coming down? And then releasing. And coming into Shavasana. Lying back. Lying back completely and letting the bones rest. And all the soft bits in the body rest, the tongue and the eyeballs. And feel how the muscles soften away from the bones. And feel the weight of the skull on the ground such that the ground is supporting us. And go inside into the container of the body we know is 99.9% space, ultimately space, and feel into that space. So St. Ruth says, enduring change happens step by step. We know in a walking meditation or in any meditation, the work is to become ever present. So we can be there for the next step. And we can choose the next step, working with the forces. And aware of the presence in the body, the space in the body, and able to be present and aware.
tell you a story. I love this story. And this story relates to what we can do once we've contacted and developed a relationship with that space. This is a story of a woman who lived in India who was a janitor. And one day she had this wish arise inside her, in her heart, that she wanted to serve. And just after she had this thought, well, what could I possibly do? And a friend told her a story of how Gandhi had once lost a very small pencil, and he was looking for it everywhere. And when someone told him, hey, listen, you're the father of the nation, you don't have time to look for a small pencil. Here's a dozen more. Gandhi simply replied, but a child had given me that pencil with a lot of love. And he carried on searching for the pencil. So this gave this woman, janitor, this idea. And so as she was cleaning, sifting through the trash, she worked at a school, she would look for the small pencils that other people had thrown away, children had thrown away, or teachers had thrown away, and the erasers. And she ended up collecting this huge collection of these tiny pencils. And if you've been to India, you know that often, well, Americans will bring pens and pencils for the kids because it seemed like you could never have enough of them. And so all of these small pencils had been gathered really as a service to love. And I love this story, right? She's this janitor. And she has a spiritual path, which is to wrap love around the simple task of gathering these pencils. So in our hearts, when we ask ourselves, well, how can I be useful? How can I be useful during this time? The answer arises in our capacity to be present. And whatever we do with love. All right, let's slowly begin to move, drawing one knee at a time into the chest. We wrap the arms around the legs. And we roll to one side, let the head rest. And we dedicate the merit, whatever we've gained from this practice, may it be somehow beyond our own understanding passed on. May there be less suffering, a great deal less suffering. May there be happiness, may there be health. And we slowly make our way up to a comfortable seat. With a long spine. Feeling into the body. Let's draw the palms together at the heart. We might dedicate our practice to generosity, to integrity, to patience, developing patience, never-ending process, to the joyful effort of practice, to the concentration that allows for letting go, and for listening deeply inside. You can join me in one chant if you would like. Bring the hands to the forehead, right thought. May we be steady. May we be present. May we be joyful. The hands come to the mouth, right speech. May our words improve upon the silence. And our hands come to our heart, right action. May we be the change that we wish to see. Namaste. Okay, well, 6 months. 6 months. So will you pay attention to the newsletters this week? We're at Breathe Together Yoga, and indeed we are beginning 3 outdoor classes in the parking lot. It's called Front Yard Yoga. Take a look. And I will see you. Maybe I'll see you next Saturday. Maybe I will see you Thursday morning for free meditation at 8 through Breathe Together Yoga. Maybe at 9 I'll see you. Maybe at Tuesday night I'll see you. Maybe I'll see you for my meditation series, which is coming up September 30th. I look forward to seeing you.